Cool. Ron, right, we're going to talk about yoga and meditation again. So I know I've done a few of these, but it's such an amazing, beautiful subject. That's so many diverse layers. Let's do another one. So the things that again, in the comments of this and the notes of it, I'll put kind of my references and stuff. This obviously isn't my own work. I am not a biologist. Unfortunately, I'm not in the region of being able to set up my own scientific studies. So I take off other people, plagiarise it, represent it to you. Hope that's all right. So we're going to look at this was a book that I read this a while ago actually, and then I followed some other stuff on YouTube, and then this it re-popped back up. This book that I read, it reminded me of something that I read ages ago, and it was to do with sports. It was when I was doing a lot of sport and personal training actually, but I can understand it a lot better now with meditation. So it's a book, Mind Over Medicine, by Lissa Rankin. She's brilliant, Lissa Rankin. She does loads of studies into placebo effects and the reasoning behind why in which placebo effects works. And I'll do another few videos on this, and I'll try and see if I can rip some of her stuff and put it up onto my website and stuff as well, because it's really interesting, amazingly interesting stuff. It's brilliant. But what we're going to talk about today is the way in which meditation and yoga and exercise as well, but we're going to try and focus it on kind of meditation, can make you live longer. So the way in which if we change nothing else in our life, we change that one thing, meditation, you will definitely live longer. If you don't change anything else and live a horrendous lifestyle and a terrible diet and all that sort of stuff, you might not live much longer, but you'll still live longer. The reason for it is the way in which it changes your physiology, it changes your brain, and it changes your hormone production within your body. So you've all heard of the fight or flight system. Our nervous system is set up in two ways. It turns things on, speeds things up, and it slows things down. The reason why we developed this specific mechanism, the fight or flight, was, years gone by when we were living in more threatening times. Either, we were more tribal, we had more threats immediately from our environment, from wild animals that we lived with, or the tribes attacking us, that we developed this system where, when the body's under stress or a threat, it ignites and flushes hormones through the body that give you almost like a fake energy. So it gave you an energy to either fight that oncoming attack or threat, or to run and do one. But to do those things, you needed an instant energy. It focuses your mind to make a decision right here, right now. Energy in, bang, do one of those things. So we developed that for very specific reasons to suit our environment that we'd been in for thousands and thousands of years. Now, since then, our civilization, we're only a few thousand years along from that. So we haven't learned to negate that and to redevelop that out or re-evolve that out, or devolve, I guess that. And that's a bad thing, because nowadays this system that we talk about, instead of it being ignited, I don't know, once or twice a week, once a day, maybe, because think how many times that you'd be under threat in that harsh environment. Certainly wouldn't be 10, 15, 20 times a day, but they estimate once a day from the studies that have said. So once a day, these hormones would flush through our body. What we get nowadays, the studies estimate that we get this response 50 times a day. 50 times a day. If you add to that, if you're in any form of debt or in a bad relationship, so throw into that mortgages, and a car on finance, that's debt. So throw into that, they say double that. 100 times a day, up to 100 times a day, your body, internally, whether you feel stressed or not, whether you're kicking back and everyone says, I'm not stressed, mate, I'm not. I never feel stressed, mate. Never feel stressed. Well, the science is against you on that, so we all feel stress. And I know, because I'm the same as you, and I experience it continually all day long. So stress can come in a number of forms, from the food that we eat, the things that we drink, the relationships in particular that we keep, the people that we surround with, and then, like we said, bills, economic stress and that sort of stuff. And the science behind it is that when we get this stress, whether it's from a saber-toothed tiger, or unfortunately nowadays from a bill, or we go up 5 minutes late because we haven't learned to deal with stress properly anymore, that our brain, the part of our brain called the amygdala, goes threat, stress. that begins to communicate with another part of our brain, our hypothalamus, and then that leads on to our pituitary gland. Many of you may have heard of that, which is the gland that communicates to our other smaller glands, and they spurt out hormones. So your adrenal gland. You know that feeling from, you know, if you have a coffee or you know, an energy drink, one of that rush of feeling, that edginess that we sometimes get if we have too much caffeine or something. That's essentially a microcosm of what's happening to your body. And it does that to have that reaction. Fight this stress that's happening or run away from it. Like we said, the problem we have nowadays is that it's happening 50 to 100 times a day. Now what that does, instead of having this positive effect where it makes you face danger, it has all the negative effects that come with it. We start releasing too much cortisol, too much adrenaline, too much norepinephrine. Now, in high levels in the body, these are really destructive hormones. They break down cell walls, they destroy them. Instead of burning up body fat, they burn up muscle tissue. They make your body store more fat. They have an unbelievable amount of negative impacts on your body. Now, we release this also, the byproduct of this is that we feel stressed and we go in the gym and exercise and do all this high intensity training and create more stress and more of these hormones within the body, in the hope or the belief that if we keep stressing the body more, the body will deal with it more. The science is against that. That isn't what happens. And I taught people that for years, and it's just not what happens. Brain scans show that doesn't happen. However, what we can do is learn to activate another system that we have. So all that stuff we've talked about is our sympathetic nervous system. Go, turn everything on. You know, work, panic, fight, whatever it is. There's another system, your parasympathetic nervous system. Now when we activate that, we spew out another load of hormones. Nitric oxide, oxytocin, you'll have heard of that, the love hormone, the hormone that you get just from hugging someone. Hug someone for 20 seconds and we get a release of that. Serotonin, you've all heard that happy hormone, thing that we get from enjoyable experiences or, you know, from foods that we specifically enjoy. All these things, and dopamine, the big one, you know, the big great calmer in the body. Now when those flood through your body, one, you feel great. You know, that's where we get those ecstatic, happy feelings from, feelings of love. But more importantly, what they do, I think Lesso, she describes it as almost like submerging yourself in a bath of healing. Your cells that are being destroyed and destructive and getting overworked get bathed in all these hormones, and these hormones repair or they prolong the life, or also cause another process, apoptosis, where the cell kills itself on purpose to stop it mutating. Whole other thing, we won't go into that. But either way, it has these beautiful positive effects on the body. One, we feel it in our, you know, when we express that in the way in which we talk and the way in which we act, but we physiologically feel it inside. So it's something that we physically feel chemically within our body. Now, there's lots of ways of enhancing this system, and we need to turn that system on as much as we can. We need to activate it all the time to try and negate some of this other stuff. And loads of different ways. Dancing, brilliant one. All my students in yoga, once you kind of get given into yoga, it consumes everything about you. And I was like that for a while. It was the only thing that I did. Yoga is just one way to, you know, to enlightenment or whatever it is. Dance is another. All the great sages, all the great philosophers and, you know, prophets of our time all spoke about the importance of dancing. Singing as well. Everyone goes, I don't like dancing and singing. 100%, your favourite song comes on and no one else in the room, you sing and dance, and 100% you feel better. No one's watching you in the car, you sing and you feel better. 100%, that's what happens. So those, and they increase all those hormones. Sex is another one. Sex enhances it and increases it. That's why, you know, the importance of procreation, having really good, positive relationships with someone that you're having sex with or making love with, that enhances all those things, and that's really important. And the other great one, meditation, baby. Yeah, so meditation. Meditation attacks these systems on twofold. One, it reduces your need or your reliance on the bad, not the bad system, but the sympathetic system, the system that's been overworked. It reduces that. It changes the way in which your brain works. So instead of waking up 5 minutes late for work, or someone not having your coffee, or someone cutting you up in traffic and you going, stress, break, it doesn't. It makes your brain less reactive to those stimuli, and you go, deal with that, carry on. So that's amazing, it does that. But it also, when you practice meditation, you get that sympathetic nervous system switched on. So instantaneously, in that moment of practicing meditation, or that moment of dance and singing, all those beautiful things flood through the body, and we repair, we heal. Now the great thing about this is that just by enhancing that system, whatever affliction you're going through, whatever disease, whatever illness, while I'm not saying that meditation and activating the sympathetic nervous system can cure it, it definitely helps your body fight that affliction better. Fact. If your body isn't dealing with all that stress, it can focus its energy on tackling or battling that disease, that illness, that affliction, like we said, that you have. So activating that system will make you deal with that stuff better. It makes you live longer. It enhances your quality of life while you're here on earth, which can't be negated. And on top of that, if you get the other people around you to practice, that enhances your life. They become more empathetic, more compassionate, more loving, less stressed, more able to cope with life stresses. That enhances your life. Everyone else in the world with it. Meditate, guys. It could change the world.